Good morning to everybody. Buenos días a todos. I am waiting for a few more people to join us. I am going to ask everyone to please put their Zoom on mute, and le voy a pedir a todo mundo que por favor apaguen el micrófono.
The AP is here.
And I'm just going to give a few more participants a minute to come in. Voy a darle a los participantes un minuto más para que se metan y vamos a empezar. We will commence in about a minute. Okay, we're going to begin. If anybody else joins the Zoom, I will admit him properly. Si alguien más va a entrar a esta conferencia por Zoom, los admitiré. Good morning to all of you. My name is Enrique Serna. And the first thing I want to tell you today is I intend to be brief, yet I intend to cover a lot of ground. I have media from the US. I have media from Guatemala. I intend to conduct this meeting first in English and then in Spanish for the Spanish-speaking media that is with us today. And at the end, I am going to have a question and answer session. Les quiero decir que primero voy a conducirme en inglés y después voy a conducir la junta en español, y al concluir la presentación voy a permitir tomar ciertas preguntas de la gente que nos acompaña. Let me be clear, this meeting is being recorded for the benefit of all of you who are kind enough to join us today. Esta conferencia de prensa la voy a grabar y va a estar disponible para todos ustedes que la quieran solicitar. I would like at this time to tell you that I have been an attorney for over 30 years. My law firm practices all over the United States, but we focus in the state of Texas and in the state of Idaho. I would like at this point to introduce my local co-counsel in Boise. Jane Gordon is the chairwoman of the litigation section of the state of Idaho. Jane is here with us this morning. And Jane, if you can please unmute yourself and pop up and say good morning to everybody.
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Jane Gordon. I practice here in Boise, Idaho.
Thank you very much, Jane. Now, at this point in time, my condolences go out to the family of Mario Sontoy. The family of Mario is here with us today. and you will get to meet him. I also grieve for the family of Mariano Koch, and his wife is also here today with us. My condolences go out to Craig Durant, who also died in this accident. To Mr. Durant and his family, we offer our most sincere condolences. Nobody, no matter who you are, want to ever die in such condition. My heart also goes out to all of those that today are in the hospital, grieving, injured, hanging for their lives. This accident was of a large scale magnitude. Something went terribly wrong, and there's a lot of people hurting and suffering about it today. Now, while I conduct this in Spanish, I'm going to ask the families then to come forward of Mario and Mariano. I'm going to ask a favor to all the media that is following and present. The families of Mario and Mariano grieve today the loss of their loved ones. They're in pain. They have not been able to get the body of their loved ones so that they can give them safe right. They're grieving. We are waiting of the coroner in Idaho and the officials from the state to release the death certificate so that the bodies could be duly transported to Guatemala. Today with us, I also have certain dignitaries and attorneys from Guatemala that are following this matter, and I will introduce them. The town where Mario and Mariano are from at times uses a different dialect that is very different from the Spanish you're used to hearing. It's hard to communicate. And I have one request, please, for the media. Mario and Mariano's family have been bombarded with phone calls. They posted this on Facebook. They were very transparent. They do not know how the laws operate in the United States. They're grieving. I'm going to ask that if you have any further requests to talk to the family, if you have any further requests to ask questions, we will be happy to entertain them and, if appropriate, release them. All the information that stems out of this tragedy is just now being compiled. Now, let me make something very clear. This is not a political case. My law firm has represented Republicans, Democrats, independents, genders of all type, colors of all type. We believe in justice and in the justice system. We make no differences. We fight for those who grieve. And I will tell you that at this time, all we know is that this is a terrible tragedy that should have not happened. I will say this, for the most part, companies don't want these events to happen. No corporation truly is out there for the taking of human life. However, there's a lot of corporations that ignore warnings, that don't follow their subscriptions, that cut corners. And at this point in time, I don't know yet all the details that led to this disaster. But I will tell you, through cooperation with OSHA in Idaho through cooperation with city and local and state authorities, in addition to bringing our own engineers, personnel in diverse areas of practice in the field of engineering, we will get to the bottom line of what happened. And we believe in transparency. We also believe in accountability, and we will happily then keep you informed. At this point in time, we are desperately trying to simply get the bodies of the deceased to Guatemala. And I have something to share you. This is Mario Sontai in Boise, Idaho, taking a selfie with his harness before going to work. This young man was one of the victims that died. We mourn his loss today. This is Mariano. He also died. Proud selfie picture was taken in his front lawn. We mourn his death today. There are more faces that you're not seeing today as a result of this terrible tragedy. Now, my firm put out a press release, and I stated that I believe in the justice system. I believe in the fairness of jury. I believe in the judges that are empowered to make decisions on these cases. The people of Idaho are very good people. And I know this because I live there. I work out in Idaho. I go out to the local restaurants. I go to Boise State games. I shop at Albertsons. I walk the river like you do. People in Idaho are very good people. And we believe that whoever gets to try this case and that we get to try this case to will be fair and will be impartial and will also hold those who are responsible accountable for their actions. I know Idahoans deserve better than to see the wreckage that is left in the airport that we all fly in and out of. Now, at this point in time, OSHA has jurisdiction along with other state authorities in the airport. There's a lot of parties that want to get in there. Everybody wants to see what happened. This is not going to be a quick turn of events. Engineers will have to get in there, get their findings. Materials engineers, others. This is not something that happens overnight. And today I have limited information on that to be able to share with you in question and in answer. Now, my firm is here to attain justice. Jane is here to attain justice on behalf of those who fell and on behalf of those who grieve. We will devote all the resources necessary to get to the bottom line of why this happened. And I got to tell you something. Unfortunately, my clients are dead. People in the hospital are hurt. We don't want this to happen again. Innocent lives get taken when they shouldn't. People show up to work, to perform, to be, to do, not to be killed. It's a long journey. We will devote all the resources necessary to hold those accountable for the sake of those who come next. Nobody wanted this. But someone or something went so terribly wrong that we're going to hold them accountable for it. Now, I'm going to ask, in this modern world of recordings, media footage, and the rest, I'm going to ask anyone who is listening to this broadcast who has information to please submit it to my firm. Idaho is a very beautiful state. People are so friendly. It's one of the friendliest states in the United States. Nobody wanted this. But if you today have information, have footage, want to suggest an opinion, recorded a video with your cell phone, have other information that we can benefit from so that justice can be served, I'm going to ask for you to please submit it to our office in Boise, to Jane's office, through our email at info@cerna-associates.com. Now, for those who speak Spanish, I'm about to do the same in Espanol, and then I'm going to come back to open it for some questions. Muy buenos días a todo el público latino que nos escucha. Yo soy el abogado Enrique Serna y estoy a cargo del caso de Mario y Mariano, que padecieron en el accidente del 31 de enero en la ciudad de Boise, Idaho. Les quiero presentar a la abogada Jane Gordon. Ella es mi amiga y la presidenta de la sección de litigio de la barra de abogados de Idaho. Jane, can you say hi to the Spanish-speaking world, please?
Hola.
La abogada y yo vamos a estar muy pendientes de este asunto. Y por ahora sé que esto es más que el sufrimiento de una persona. Esto es un sufrimiento de la esposa, los hijos, los padres, los familiares de Mario y de Mariano que sufren, que quieren ver el cuerpo de sus hijos ya. Y le estoy solicitando a las autoridades del estado de Idaho que por favor apuren el tener el certificado de muerte para que podamos trasladar los cuerpos de los muchachos y entregárselos a su familia para que los velen con gusto, con honor, con respeto. Ahora les digo al público latino que en Estados Unidos hay quien vea por ustedes. Hay gente que los entiende. Mario, Oscar, te voy a pedir que si estás presente y escuchando, por favor, saludes a la audiencia latina y te presentes, por favor. Quita tu micrófono y preséntate, por favor.
Muy buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Oscar. Sí, soy tío de Mario Rigoberto Sontay. Sí, quiero también presentarles a su señor padre, Pedro Sontay, y su señora madre, Gloria Josefina. Sí, aquí estamos de luto, esperando el cuerpo de nuestro familiar, también su hermano, su hermana y su esposa. Muchísimas gracias.
Muchas gracias, Oscar. Muy amable. Te pido pongas tu micrófono. Señores latinos, sabemos que cuando muere un paisano nuestro en Estados Unidos, es un dolor de no solamente una familia, es un pueblo, es una aldea, es una nación. La justicia se va a hacer en Idaho. La justicia se va a hacer a nombre de aquellos que sufren. Y les digo, ahorita cuento con muy poca información y me gusta ser muy transparente con los medios de comunicación y con mucho gusto voy a estar incluyendo a los miembros de la prensa para que le den seguimiento a esto. Porque déjenme les digo algo. Empresas típicamente no están haciendo negocio para matar a sus empleados. Ellos quieren lucrar, hacer dinero para poder ganar la vida y hacerla y hacer sus proyectos. Pero hay muchas empresas que ignoran las medidas de seguridad, que recortan esquinas, que no siguen los protocolos de seguridad que deberían haber seguido. Y les voy a asegurar algo. Toda aquella persona que haya tenido culpabilidad en este asunto, los vamos a traer a la justicia. Ahora, quiero decirle a la gente de Guatemala que hay mucha gente involucrada en esto. El licenciado Juan Pablo Riley ha sido un gran aliado en el país de Guatemala y por su conducto pudimos llegar a hablar bien con la familia, a darles esperanza. Y no solamente en este asunto, sino que vienen desafortunadamente otros. Y los guatemaltecos van a tener voz de saber que en Estados Unidos se les respeta. Hay gente quien los va a proteger. No están solos en esta pelea. Al querer ganar dinero honorablemente para después hacer felices a su familia y ayudarlos. Los padres de Mario y de Mariano estaban orgullosos que sus hijos fueron a los Estados Unidos a ganarse la vida bien. Eran hombres de bien y en su nombre vamos a obtener la justicia necesaria. Miren, yo he estado viviendo en Boise, Idaho, los últimos 2 años. Creo en la gente de Idaho. La gente de Idaho es gente buena, es gente amable. Es uno de los estados más amables en Estados Unidos. Yo creo en el sistema de leyes del estado de Idaho. Yo creo en los jurados que vayan a tener este caso en el estado de Idaho. En este momento les digo que estoy colaborando con autoridades federales estatales, locales y municipales para poder tener acceso a la documentación necesaria que necesitaremos para poder sacar este caso adelante. Le voy a pedir a la gente de habla hispana que esté en Idaho, le voy a pedir a la gente que llegue a tener alguna información adicional, videos, algo que quieran compartir con nosotros, que por favor me busque en las redes sociales, en Facebook, en mi correo electrónico, info@cerna-medio asociates.com, mi celular 210-865-5800. Si usted tiene información que quiera compartir con nosotros acerca de este accidente, por favor, háganlo. Concluyo con esto. La justicia se va a servir en nombre de Mario, en nombre de Mariano, en nombre del señor Craig Durant, que también muere y lo acompañamos en su sufrimiento. Acompañamos el sufrimiento de todo aquel que hoy esté llorando, sufriendo en el hospital. Le agradecemos a todos los paramédicos, policías, equipo de recuperación de gente del estado de Idaho. Y les damos gracias por haber atendido a esta desgracia. Y pronto vamos a estar hablando con ellos para ver sus impresiones. Ahora, en este momento, abriré el piso para preguntas en inglés y después abriré el piso para preguntas en español. Les voy a pedir, por favor, que quien quiera hacer preguntas, nada más dejen que uno termine para hacer la otra. At this point in time, I am going to open the floor for some questions, and all I ask, there are a few of you that want to ask questions, just don't overlap. Unmute your microphone, speak your question, and when it's done, please close it. So whoever wants to start.
If
I
I
know-
may start, Enrique.
And who am I talking
This is
to?
Don Nelson from Idaho News 6. Hello. Thanks so much for taking my question. Of course, thoughts and prayers going out to all the families involved here. What information and fact finding can you do before the OSHA report is complete? I know you mentioned Facebook and pictures. What other things can you do to get information before this long, it seems a long report, comes out from OSHA?
First of all, and Don, good to meet you over video, and look forward to visiting with you later. Typically, in a matter like this, there's a lot of interested parties that want access. First of all, you have a lot of the corporations. There's a lot of corporations that were participating in the project. They also want to know what's going on and who's at fault, just like we do. So typically in a case like this, what we do is we start working with federal and state authorities first to gain access to the site, and then to bring our own team of engineers, of experts to photograph the site, do aerials on the site, and preserve the site. Typically, in this type of litigation, there is a letter of non-spoliation. My law firm and Jane's are preparing to send those out today. And what we are asking everybody that is listening to this is, we don't want you to destroy any evidence that you have. We want for you to safekeep everything that was there before the accident. We intend to walk the grounds so that we can do our own independent investigation in collaboration with federal and state authorities. Federal authorities are going to have their conclusions. State authorities are going to have their conclusions. OSHA is trained to issue conclusions, as well as our EMS and police and first responders. Our officers are trained to do so. And on the question of citizen involvement, Don, I would tell you this. In this world where if you're there at the right place and at the right time, you happen to record something, we want to see it. We want to get to the bottom line of what happened. And so we invite the citizens who might have information to submit it to our firm, to submit it to our email at info@cerna-associates.com. I'm going to be posting it on our website, and we look forward to talking to those who can potentially have some details or evidence or the rest.
Quick
And
follow-
I'm so happy that you asked this question, because for the media and for everyone that is listening to us, this is like building a puzzle when you first buy it and you get it out of the box. I know where all the pieces are, but I haven't seen the final picture yet. We got to start putting it together one by one. And so contributions from the media, from postings, from people, from citizens, from concerned individuals are very welcome.
Quick follow-up, Enrique. Have the authorities told you that you have full access to the property?
The first person that I got a hold of was the director of OSHA, and I am in communications with their office as of yesterday to be able then to access the site, and I'm starting to work with OSHA to do so.
Thank you. Gracias.
Brenda, your microphone is not clear. It sounds quite
Yeah,
fuzzy.
I cannot understand it, Brenda, sorry.
It's still kind of fuzzy, Brenda.
Hi, can you hear me? This is Brenda Rodriguez.
That's
Yes,
great. Thank you.
now we can hear
Thank
you.
you so much. I apologize for that. Pero nomás quiero empezar a decirle a la familia gracias por estar aquí y lamento todo lo que andan pasando ahorita. Y yo aquí soy de Idaho también y espero que toda la gente recuerde quién es Mariano y Mario. So gracias por estar aquí. Lamento. Enrique, I just want to ask for clarification. Big D Builder sent out a statement yesterday saying that they're helping the families, but we know that the family is raising funds on their own to try to get the family or the bodies back to Guatemala. Can you clarify how Big D Builders is helping?
Listen, at this point in time, I am not in contact with Big D Builders, nor will I be in contact with Big D Builders. I assume they have retained counsel, and I assume their counsel is going to talk to us, which is the proper channel, following the rules of ethics of how you conduct yourself in a big matter like this or any other matter. You got to remember this. Before someone like Jane and I get involved, the families at times, they don't know what to do. They're in another country. They're grieving. They make calls, they get info, they get bombarded. It's been so sad to know that the families have been reached in so many. I'm going to ask all of you, please, to put, por favorcito, pongan en Zoom, en mute, por favor, pongan en mute su teléfono. Quien por favor esté. So at this point in time, I do know that the bodies are still at the morgue. I do know that we are awaiting the death certificate. I do know that my law firm is in contact with the Guatemalan embassy in Seattle, Washington. And I do know that as soon as the certificate is issued, my law firm will take charge of transferring those bodies to Guatemala. So I will not comment on whatever another corporation wants to do, put out whatever statements they want to do. It's whatever's out there is out there. We are in of getting this body down to Guatemala, and whatever other things out there are truly speculatory.
Yeah, the family told me that to their understanding is the company is helping them transport the bodies over to the frontera. From the frontera, they have to figure out how to get to Guatemala. Can you confirm that is true?
At this point in time, again, as I said, I'm going to ask for all the media to understand that the families are suffering, they're hurt, they're in pain. And a lot of those phone calls that were made, that they received, all that information came out in a very convoluted way when people are grieving. And it might be accurate or not. The proper channels to transport a body outside of the United States to another country are codified. Typically what happens is the state issues a death certificate. The body is then able to be released. Then we work with the governmental authorities that have consulates in the United States to then be able to start the process. And along the way, there are clearly carriers that would either fly the body to Guatemala, transport the body to Guatemala, and do all the proper documentation that it takes for the safe export of the body and the safe import of the body into the country.
Hey there, this is Jimena with NPR. Thank you so much for doing this. I guess just like to clarify a little bit, what exactly is the outcome that you are looking for here? You've talked a lot about justice. Like, are you seeking monetary compensation? Are you seeking easier transportation of the bodies, as Brenda was asking? Like, what exactly is it that you're looking for here?
First of all, we are investigating. It is prudent for us attorneys that practice with ethics and care to do things right. I cannot today tell you who is at fault, exactly what happened. I cannot pinpoint where the liability is. This is going to take some time. But I do know that something went terribly wrong. When I say we seek justice, is the state, federal laws, they're codified as to the recoveries we can get on behalf of the families. So clearly, in a tragedy of this magnitude, we will seek as many monetary damages that are available for the families of those who died. And it's codified under Idaho law and under federal law. And we will keep you informed then of the progress. I'm not there yet to file a lawsuit. I like to do things the right way. We are going to first investigate. I ask all of those companies that are involved in this to preserve and keep your records intact. Because I intend to continue to keep the media informed. We don't want any other resident of Idaho, citizen of Idaho, that works in construction, in industrial constructions, or in the fields to die. We don't want that. And if we can save lives by keeping the public informed, and by holding those who are responsible accountable, we will do so.
And can you just confirm for me who hired you and requested your help?
Yes, the families of Mario and Mariano hired me and requested my help. My law firm has a long history of helping citizens from other countries. I've represented governors, states, parties of all affiliations, foreign governments, foreign states, rich individuals, poor individuals, individuals that can't speak, literate individuals, educated, uneducated. We don't discriminate. And when I say we seek justice, is if I was working the case on your behalf, I would be doing exactly the same. We're very universal in the pursuit of holding those that are responsible, accountable for their wrongdoings on behalf of those who grieve and suffer.
Enrique?
Yes.
John Nelson again. Do family members in Guatemala have anything they would like to say to the people of Idaho?
At this point in time, Oscar recorded a few words. They're grieving. And I would have to tell you this, Don. They want to grieve their son, the husband. They want to grieve their family member. They've been in prayer. They've been mourning the loss of a loved one that's in a foreign country. They've been bombarded with calls. They've been bombarded with questions. They've been approached in ways that are not normal, man. It's crazy. I ask people to be considerate and think about it as if it was a member of your own family that deceased. But what they want is to bring their father, son, husband, brother back to the country so they can mourn. And I'm waiting for state authorities to finally issue that certificate of death so that we can start the transport of the body. So yes, thank you, Don. They want to get their boy back, their dad back, their brother back. So that's what they want to tell everybody.
Thank you. Gracias.
Anybody else has another question in English before I turn it to the Spanish media?
Yeah, I have a question. Oh, sorry. I have a question really quick. Nicole Foy from ProPublica. I'm just wondering, you hinted at this before, and I appreciate you laying out the process that you go through to make sure that their bodies can go home. But I was wondering if you kind of hinted that there were already some issues, and so I'm curious, like what if you could explain if any problems that you on behalf of the families making sure that they can get everybody home. I'm just confused about what the holdup is or the issues.
The bodies are laying at the morgue. The bodies cannot be released properly so that we can follow the stated documentary practices that we need to follow in order to transport a body from the United States to the country. We are waiting on the death certificate to be issued. That seems to be the only holdup at the time. However, I'm not one to tell the authority what to do or when to do it. I ask that it's expedited, but this is a complex investigation. This was a horrible accident. This is a real tragedy where a lot of people died and a lot of people were injured. So I ask the authorities to be diligent so that we can please get whatever is needed so that the bodies can be transported down to Guatemala and they can be properly grieved. And I look forward to working with the authorities so that we can get that done. And just to follow it up, we're in contact with the embassy, with the consulate of Guatemala in Seattle, Washington. And the protocol for the exportation of the body is already being laid out and will be followed according to the law.
Thank you. I just have one other question too. I was wondering what you could share about Mario and Mariano's lives here before this accident. How long had they been working here in Idaho? Anything you can share so we can know a little bit about them.
Absolutely. And I don't like to express all the facts until I have all the facts. And we were just brought up, and this is something that's evolving very quickly. All I can tell you is, one, they were very good at their trade. They had been working in construction for over 5 years. They were very happy in Idaho. They liked Idaho. They used to go to the Chevron station by the airport to get their morning coffee en route to building this hangar. They were proudly supporting their families in Guatemala. They were sending money back every week. They were taking care of their kids. They were taking care of their parents and of their uncles. They were living the American dream. They were those that were able to get to this country to actually do things right and to actually help others to then come the right way. So they were very happy in Idaho. They really liked their work. And we truly are saddened to see them go in this way.
Hi, my name is Sierra. I'm from KTVB in Boise. We want to know if you plan on presenting any of the victims that are in the hospital that are injured right now.
I do know that my law firm has received several inquiries. Not at this time. I am also very receptive to talk to people. I do know I need to return a few calls. As of now, we represent Mario's family, Mariano's family, and, we are very ethical in our practices. And if anybody else wants to reach us, they're more than welcome to do so. We fight for justice, and we can clearly help those that are there injured and recovering. But then I also tell you this. Imagine yourself laying in the hospital, perhaps not being able to walk, burned with cuts and bruises. I want to say that some of those people need a little bit more time sometimes to get their life together again and to come forward. They're injured, they're hurting, they're in pain. And the statute of limitations in Idaho allows for us to wait a good period of time so that they can come forward with us, with their lawyers, and participate in this matter.
Thank you. And then also, why did you decide to take on this case?
That's a very interesting question. I believe in the American dream. I was born in Mexico. I immigrated to the United States under President Reagan's amnesty law. I think the United States is the greatest country in the world with the greatest people in the world. We're visionaries. We innovate. We're compassionate. We're good. And I got to say, my law firm over the last 30 years has represented a lot of Mexican Americans, a lot of clients from South America. We are bilingual, as you know. We're bicultural. We understand them. And I got to tell you, I'm taking on this case because I love Idaho. And I don't want anybody else in Idaho to go through what these innocent people went through. And like I was telling you earlier, I don't care from what country in the world you are. If there is an injustice that occurs in the United States and you want a lawyer that's going to battle for you, understand you, feel for you, and fight for justice, you came to the right place. So I take these matters very seriously. Spare no expense. And I want to hold those that are responsible accountable for the losses today.
Enrique, one last question from me to Stan again. Have you had similar cases in the history of your law firm, similar to this? And if you have had, what were the outcomes?
Dawn, when you practice in personal injury and in product liability, you see it all. I've been involved in mass torts. I've been involved in individual cases. I've been involved in very small cases. Our justice system and the laws as codified allows for monetary compensation. That is the only way we bring those to justice. As we all know, if it's a criminal act, then someone gets taken to jail and it's prosecuted. And they pay for their time, their lives by sitting in jail because they did not do the right thing. On the civil side, it's monetary. But our mission, Don, is to clearly hope that accidents like this never, ever happen again, because we won't ever bring these people back. We won't bring Mr. Duran back. We won't bring Mario and Mariano back. So yes, in our 30 years, we've been involved in similar incidents and in a lot of other cases. And our outcomes have been always very successful. And you know, Don, it's typically not in my hands to give an award. I suggest to the jury what an award can be based on our research on the law. And clearly, we always seek the maximum we can get as a quantification for the life. But then, Don, as you know, we pick a jury that's fair, that's impartial, that's going to listen to the evidence. And that after the evidence is concluded, they go into the deliberation room to fill the sheets where they cross the amounts and put them out. And so when I said, I believe in the people of Idaho, I know people in Idaho. I consider myself a citizen, a resident of Idaho since the last 2 years. I know that the people of Idaho are very fair, and it's up to them. Because, Don, you're only listening and hearing it from one side. I'm sure you guys in the media are going to be bombarded with defense lawyers, with corporations wanting to say it wasn't me, with lawyers that are going to want to argue against. And all I can tell you is I respect their position. And I also respect lawyers that are on the defense. They're doing their work. They get paid to do the best outcome for their client too. And it becomes a gladiator match. And it ain't about egos and personalities. It's about facts and outcomes. So yes, my firm has been involved. I will devote any and all resources necessary to bring the parties that are at fault to justice. And we'll be doing so with all the experience of 30 years in litigation and with the help of my co-counsel, Jane.
Okay. Thank you, Gracias. I hope to see you soon.
You bet, Don. Bueno.
I have another question. Do you have any details on the way they died?
From what it's published, all I know is they died very tragically. But at this point in time, like I told you I would do, when I know a fact, I will share a fact. I don't know it yet. I don't know if they were at the top and the bottom. I don't know if they're bottom of the wreckage. I don't know if they were bystanders. I don't know where they were. And this is part of why I look forward to working with the first responders of Idaho, with the OSHA federal authorities and state authorities. Imagine this. You get a 911 dispatch call. You get dispatched to the scene. Our fellow EMS, fire rescue officers, federal investigators, they're trained to attain this. They will have findings. We will have our findings. but I don't want to speculate to you. I do not know just how yet, but we will find out soon.
Thank you.
All right. At this point in time, what I'm going to do is le voy a decir al público latino, a la prensa latina, que si tienen alguna pregunta en español, les voy a pedir que por favor me la hagan antes de concluir esta conferencia de prensa. Bueno. If you're a reporter in Idaho that speaks Spanish, if you want to ask me a question in Spanish for your Spanish media, I'll entertain it now. Very well. Then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being here with us today. I urge state authorities to please do what you need to do so that we can get the death certificate, so that these bodies can be transported safely to Guatemala. And I thank you, and I will make a commitment that as soon as we have more facts and grounded evidence, we will be happy to share it with you. God bless all of you. Thank you very much for coming, and have a great day.